Hello everyone. In this video, we'll be taking a look at some more monsters from around the world, 10 to be precise. And if you like this video, then be sure to check out part 2 as well as the other videos in this series. Also, if you want to submit a monster for me to research, then check the description for instructions. So with all that being said, let's get right into it. Part 1. Monsters of Europe. Europe's home to some wild monsters, and many of them are straight out of the myths and legends we still share today. And we're going to be covering 10 of them today. What's a basilisk, anyway? Well, the basilisk was supposedly a real animal known to inhabit parts of Europe, especially France, Germany, Italy, and Spain. It was said to be able to appear in various shapes, but it most commonly took the form of a large lizard, snake, or even toad. It was often described as being the king of all serpents, and had glowing red eyes, a forked tongue, and sharp claws and teeth. The basilisk was also said to be able to breathe fire and cause death with a single glance. This last trait is probably its most famous one, with people believing that a basilisk's stare could turn humans to stone. However, there were ways to avoid its deadly gaze, such as by throwing earth on it, holding up a mirror, or wearing protective stones. Now, although it may seem quite ridiculous to us now, it's important to remember that during medieval times, they didn't have any sort of scientific understanding to back up their theories. So when something unusual showed itself, they would just come up with stories to explain why it did certain things. To this day, scientists are unsure of exactly what inspired the creation of the basilisk. However, it's likely that it came from descriptions of venomous snakes, lizards, and other reptiles that were seen as dangerous due to their ability to kill with a bite. Moving on, let's take a look at the dragon. Dragons are legendary creatures that have been popular in European folklore for centuries. They are typically depicted as large, scaly, winged reptiles with the ability to breathe fire. Dragons are often portrayed as fierce and powerful beasts that live in caves or mountains and hoard treasure. They can breathe fire because of a special organ called a furcula, which allows them to combine oxygen with combustible substances in their bodies. This results in an explosion of flame from their nostrils, which can reach temperatures of around 980 degrees Fahrenheit. Dragons have also been associated with magic and sorcery. In some stories, they are said to possess great wisdom and power over the elements, while in others, they are depicted as evil and malevolent creatures that bring destruction and chaos wherever they go. Despite their fearsome reputation, dragons have also been revered as symbols of strength, courage, and nobility. Many cultures have dragon-themed myths and legends that celebrate the power and majesty of these creatures. Overall, dragons remain one of the most enduring and iconic monsters in European folklore, captivating the imaginations of people for generations. Now let's talk about the griffin. Griffins are legendary creatures that have appeared in European art and literature since the time of the Greeks. They have the body, tail, and legs of a lion, which symbolizes strength and power, and the head and wings of an eagle, which represents freedom and keen eyesight. In ancient times, griffins were believed to guard the treasures of the gods and were seen as symbols of immortality and the ability to soar to great heights. During the Middle Ages, griffins became associated with heraldry and were often used as symbols of courage, independence, and guardianship. They were also featured prominently in alchemy and were said to be able to transform base metals into gold. Today, griffins continue to be popular in fantasy literature and mythology, and are often depicted as noble, majestic creatures that embody the best qualities of both lions and eagles. Next up, we have the Kraken. The Kraken is a legendary sea monster that is said to dwell off the coast of Norway and Sweden. It is typically depicted as a giant octopus or squid-like creature that is capable of dragging ships and their crews to the bottom of the ocean. The Kraken is said to have enormous tentacles that can wrap around ships and hold them fast, as well as sharp, strong suckers that can crush bones and suck the air out of lungs. It is also said to have huge eyes that glow red in the darkness of the deep sea. The legend of the Kraken has been around for centuries, and there are many stories of sailors who have encountered this fearsome creature. Some believe that the Kraken is nothing more than a myth, while others believe that it is a real creature that lives in the depths of the ocean. There have been many sightings of giant squid, which could possibly be the inspiration behind the Kraken myth. However, despite the lack of concrete evidence, the Kraken continues to capture the imagination of people around the world and is a popular figure in literature and film. Now let's take a look at the Selkie. Selkies are shape-shifting creatures from Scottish and Irish folklore. They are said to be able to transform themselves into seals or seal-like creatures, and are often depicted as living in coastal areas or on remote islands. Selkies are usually portrayed as beautiful, enchanting beings with a strong connection to the sea. They are known for their enchanting music and their ability to lure sailors to their deaths on the rocky shores. Despite their dangerous reputation, Selkies are also seen as symbols of freedom, independence, and the untamed spirit of the sea. Their shape-shifting abilities make them mysterious and alluring creatures that have captured the imagination of storytellers and their audiences for centuries. Next up, we have the Kelpie. Kelpies are shape-shifting water spirits from Scottish folklore. They are often depicted as having the upper body of a human and the lower body of a horse, and they are renowned for their ability to shapeshift into other animals as well, such as seals, otters, and even cats. Kelpies are usually portrayed as supernatural tricksters that can be both helpful and harmful to humans. They are sometimes seen as benevolent creatures that can assist those who interact with them, but they can also be malicious and cause harm or even death. The Kelpie is a powerful symbol of the dangers of the Scottish landscape and the unpredictable nature of the natural world. They are also seen as a reminder of the importance of being careful when dealing with the unknown. Now let's take a look at the banshee. A banshee is a female spirit in Irish folklore whose presence signifies death or some other calamity in the family or community. She is typically depicted as a woman who screams or wails, and her cries are said to be a harbinger of doom. The banshee is often associated with the Gaelic word for women, which is bean and she, meaning fairy or spirit. In Irish culture, the banshee is seen as a messenger between the worlds of the living and the dead. Her presence is not necessarily meant to be frightening, but rather to serve as a warning and allow the community to prepare for the inevitable. Despite her fearsome reputation, the banshee is also an important figure in Irish folklore, and her presence is respected and honored. Next up, we have the leprechaun. Leprechauns are legendary creatures in Irish folklore. They are typically depicted as small, bearded men who are skilled in magic and are known for their ability to grant wishes or lead those who seek them on wild goose chases. Leprechauns are often shown wearing green hats and carrying staffs, and they are said to live in burrows underground or in hollow trees. In Irish culture, leprechauns are seen as solitary creatures who are fiercely independent and difficult to find. They are also known for their love of gold and treasure and are often said to be very wealthy. Despite their small stature, leprechauns are incredibly powerful, and their magic is feared throughout Ireland. Now let's talk about the redcap. The redcap is a type of goblin-like creature in Scottish folklore. It is said to be a small, grotesque humanoid with a red cap on its head. This cap is said to be stained with the blood of those who have been slain by the redcap. The redcap is known for its ferocity and bloodthirstiness, and it is said to attack anyone who enters its territory. It is also said to be able to shapeshift and disguise itself as a human in order to lure unsuspecting victims into its lair. In Scottish folklore, the redcap is seen as a symbol of violence and bloodshed, and its presence is said to bring bad luck and misfortune. Finally, we have the Black Shuck. The Black Shuck is a legendary creature in English folklore. It is said to be a large, terrifying dog-like monster that appears in East Anglia, particularly Suffolk and Norfolk. The Black Shuck is described as being larger than a normal dog, with a heavy, shaggy coat that is as black as pitch. It also has glowing red eyes and sharp, pointed teeth. The Black Shuck is known for its strength and ferocity, and is said to be able to drag down cattle and horses with ease. It is also said to be able to travel at incredible speeds, and has been seen running across fields and along roads at night. In English folklore, the Black Shuck is seen as a harbinger of death and disease, and its appearance is said to be a bad omen. So there you have it, 10 monsters from Europe. Which one is your favorite? Let me know in the comments below. And if you want to learn about more monsters from around the world, then be sure to check out part 2 as well as the other videos in this series. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.